Hi. All right, so I am going to do a quick and easy dip for you. That'll be easy for you to do at, am I muted?
No.
Okay. Everybody in the kitchen started looking at Jim, so I didn't know what was happening. Okay, so it's okay. Jim, you didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't do anything
okay.
wrong.
So I'm making a quick and easy dip. This is an easy recipe that you can do at your parties, in your in-person parties. It's easy ingredients that you probably have at home. I had almost all these ingredients at home, except for I did not have fresh green onions because I just made a salad yesterday, so I used all my green onions. So it's stuff that you have probably at home that you can be able to whip this up. It's a great demonstration for your VIP groups. If you do a live demonstration in your Facebook parties, right? Or even just to make into a quick reel. And also even if you're just having friends over for to watch football, right? So you can make this dip. It does have some chilling time, so you want to take that into consideration. And it's also a good base dip, and I'll give you some modifications for it at the end. All right, so it is a 5-ingredient dip. Okay, you gotta love that, right? It's super simple. And so one of the ingredients is cheese. So we have our cheese grater, right? And of course, if you have kids, get them involved with the cheese grater. Kids, grandkids, anybody, honestly, teenagers, everybody loves like this whole situation here. And being able to use that, right? Because it's so quick and easy, and it is such a cost-effective way to be able to, like, right now, I think everybody's trying to stretch their food budget, and this is a great way to do it, to be able to buy the cheese in bulk, right? When it's on sale, pop it in the freezer, and then just pull out the blocks. Actually, these blocks came out of my freezer, okay? So pull the blocks out of the freezer and put them in here and grate them, right? Or you can pre-grate them and put them in the freezer grated, right? And a quick tip for that is you can take, I use tapioca starch, but you can use whatever it is you want. You can use cornstarch, I think, yeah, cornstarch. And you can just sprinkle a little bit of that on there and just shake it up. And then it'll come out all crumbly. So it won't be like a chunk of like shredded cheddar that you have to like chisel out of the freezer, right? It's crumbly, just like it is in the bag, because that's one of the things that I've had people kind of push back sometimes. They're like, well, I like the bag cheese because I can just grab a little bit and put it on whatever, right? You can do the same thing, except you know what's on it, right? So it's just gonna be cheese, cornstarch, or whatever else. There's no other preservatives on there. I love. All right, and so I put this in my sandwich keeper on purpose because I wanted to share this with you guys. This is actually where we store our cheese at home, and it works perfectly. Okay, when you buy those blocks of cheese, those like 8-ounce blocks of cheese, this is like a fantastic size. I can't tell you, there are times I look in the fridge and I have like 4 of these in the fridge holding various cheeses. It's such a great size, and it keeps them fresh for a really long time. I know it's crazy, but I love my sandwich keepers for cheese. So a little tip for me to you. All right, so yeah, so I have my cheese. So I'm gonna just take this out. I'm gonna pop this right in here. All right, and this is about 8 ounces because it was a 16-ounce block. And normally I would bring a bowl that fits under here a little bit better, but this is the one that I have on hand, so I just put this one, right? Actually, the bowl that fits best under here is actually our mix and store pitcher. It's just right underneath there. It's fantastic. Right where the little, in the bowl, right underneath there. All right. The little thing that you pour out of, right? So that's perfect for that. All right, so you just grate, right? Love it. It's so quick and easy. So I have to tell you, the one thing that I religiously volunteer for at the school is the teacher luncheons. I've done it since the kids were little because I didn't want to be the mom. I wanted to be the mom that kind of volunteered and helped out at the school, but I also did not want it to monopolize all of my time. And I, you know, because I have my business, and I also just, I didn't want to take over my life. And so I was like, what can I do to make the most impact that I can kind of get some face time with kids' teachers? And so I volunteer for teacher luncheons, and I actually run the teacher luncheons, right? And so I bring my Tupperware to the kitchen because it's so easy and it makes things so quick and easy. And let me tell you, this is the #1 thing that the other moms that I do the teacher luncheons with, they're like, you're bringing your cheese thingy, right? You're bringing your cheese thingy, right? Your cheese thingy and your tomato slicey thingy, right? The mandolin, okay? You know, those are the 2 things. They're like, you're bringing those things, right? And I'm like, right? And so that's the type of stuff that you can do with your products and it's sort of that soft sell when you're using your products in front of friends, family members, and think about the holidays coming up, right? You're gonna have people in your house, maybe you're hosting, maybe you're going over to somebody's house, right? And maybe you're helping them in the kitchen, you're helping prep. Be like, what are we prepping? See if you can bring some of your tools over to be able like, hey, I brought this to make it quick and easy, and I'll take care of it for you. So why don't you hand me all of the potatoes and I'll go ahead and slice them so you can put them in the water to boil them for the mashed potatoes, right? And use your mandolin, right? Do things like that. And people are like, wow, you did that so fast. That was so quick and easy. You're like, oh yeah. And you don't have to be like, it's my mandolin, it's on sale right now, blah, blah, blah. Just use the products, the proof is in the pudding, right? All right, so we have our cheese in here. And then the next ingredient is mayonnaise because, you know, I mean, dip, mayonnaise. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? All right, so it's like a cup and a half of mayonnaise, right? And so this is just real mayonnaise. This is not a Miracle Whip situation, people, okay? It definitely changes the flavor. Sometimes there are recipes that call for Miracle Whip, which is actually more like salad dressing, but we're not gonna get into that debate right now. All right, so this is a cup and a half of mayonnaise, mayonnaise. And so that is in here, right? And this is something you can use your Power Chef, right, with the whip attachment. You can use that for this because this is just kind of a nice little soft mix. But you can also just use a bowl and your spatula. So you can figure out what products you want to feature. And then also the other things in this recipe are bacon, right? And it said bacon bits, but I just had bacon at home. So I just cooked up some bacon and I crumbled them. And I got a little carried away because I made 2 batches of this. And so I already chopped it. Otherwise, at a party, I would bring the bacon and chop it for the people, right? But I got carried away and I was like, oh, I chopped my nuts and bacon already. So anyways, this is what I used, okay? So I chopped the bacon up, and it's nice and crumbly in there, and it called for sliced nuts, but I just went ahead and got them nice and small. Like, I didn't want sliced nuts in there, I just wanted them a little bit finer, right? So, so I just kind of put them in here to bring them, and just dump them right in there. Right, and so like I said, and so what I did was I put the bacon in first, I chopped that all up, and then I put the nuts in, and it's actually got all of the rest of the residue off of the inside of here, because when you do chop the bacon inside something like this, it kind of like puts a little, it's hard to kind of, even with the spatula, it's hard to get all that bacon out of there. And then by chopping something else in there, it kind of scoops all the rest of that out. So you got all the little bits and all the good yummy stuff out of there. So I just want to give you that tip. So that's the one that I use for that. All right, and then the last ingredient is our green onion. All right, and you can put the green onion in the chopper, but honestly, green onion is one of those things, I like it sliced, right? I don't know about you, I do a lot of cooking, and so I have certain vegetables I like sliced certain ways, and so some of them I don't mind just like throw in a chopper and just like chop the heck out of them, right? But other things, I don't want to slice certain ways. There's just something about it, right? And green onions is definitely one of those. And so I want it just sliced nice. And because some recipes they call for just the white part of the green onion, and some recipes call for just the green part. This calls for the whole darn thing. But I still like the nice little like round slices of the green onion and all that good stuff. And I love the chef's knife. It's the #1 knife I use in the kitchen. A lot of times they say that the reason why people hurt themselves in the kitchen is a lot of times they're using a knife that's too small for the job they're doing. And when you talk to people that work in kitchens, a lot of times they just do everything with chef's knife because there's nothing you can't do with a chef's knife. Now there are things that you can't do with a smaller knife. So if you can only have one knife, so but yeah, and ours is I mean I know Loretta just kind of went over all of this, but these chef's knives are so great because they do have that rounded rocking sort of situation, because you don't actually want to lift your knife up off of the cutting board. You want it to rock, because when you lift it up, that's when kind of like the, right? That's actually not, you don't really want to do that. Not at home chefs like us, right? Not people that kind of cook at home. It just is a little bit safer for you when you have that, the tip of that knife on there. It just kind of lends you to be a little bit more controlled with your cut, and so it's less likely for you to be able to like chop off your tip, right? And the other thing actually is curling your fingers, doing it like this. Because I watch people all the time and I'm like, oh, you're freaking me out with your fingers. But yeah, so you want to be careful with that. So you just want to curl your fingers so it makes like a nice wall, so that keeps you also from cutting your fingers. But yeah, so you just want to chop these up and you're gonna put them right into your bowl, right? And that's it. How easy is this dip? Seriously, this is so easy to make to take to a party, and you do want to make it have it chill for 2 hours. All right, so you want it to chill for two hours at least, and that will just like help all the flavors just kind of do their thing. And then there are some modifications. So you can use the mayonnaise like I used, but you can also use Greek yogurt. You could also use sour cream. I'm sure you could probably use cream cheese if you want to use cream cheese. It just kind of depends what your flavor is, what you prefer, and kind of how rich you want it to be. You could also put some seasoning in there. So I did a batch ahead of time because I made it when I thought we were gonna have an in-person meeting, but we kind of were having a little one here, so everybody here will get to see it. And so I put Italian seasoning in this, right? I put our Tupperware Italian seasoning in this because I always keep some of that on hand because it's literally my favorite seasoning. And I use it in like so many things I do. And so you can put Italian seasoning in here. You could put some Chipotle seasoning in here. You could put ranch seasoning. A lot of people really love their ranch seasoning. And when I say ranch seasoning, I mean like the dry seasoning. I don't mean like squeeze all the ranch in there because that's gonna make it all gooey. Right? So we don't want to change the like consistency of it, okay? And so, but it's almost kind of like a BLT, sort of like a flavor. What just happened? I'm so excited. Oh, okay. She smells the bacon. Bacon. And so
Yes.
But yeah, so there's lots of different things you can do with it and add some extra flavors to it. You probably could even put some Tabasco sauce in there, right? And just kind of add a little kick to it. So you can get creative with it, but it's a nice base of a dip that you can then add. And I think honestly, if I did not have celiac, I would totally eat this with either club crackers or some Ritz, okay? That would be so freaking good, but they don't make crackers like that for celiac people, so I definitely recommend those crackers for all of you people that can have food. All right, so, but I hope that I will definitely post the link to this recipe for you guys, and I hope you get a chance to try it. But like I said, this makes a quick and easy recipe that you can do at your parties. And you can demonstrate some of these really great products that are products that I think all of us use in our home so often. And those are the products that you definitely want to talk about with people at your parties. And definitely talk to them about like just different ways that they can save money in their kitchen, you know, talking about the cheese, talking about all of that kind of stuff, because seriously, I mean, that like, those are the things right now that everybody is looking for. We're all looking for it. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for ways to stretch my budget, you know, looking for ways to be able to just make the food last longer, right? Or even just, you know, stretch the amount of food that I'm making. It was funny, I was talking to a mom the other day, and I made sloppy joes. And so her son came over for the moment, so I ran to the store and I grabbed some hamburger meat and I made sloppy joes, and he comes in, he's like, no offense, Mrs. Lewis, but I actually don't like sloppy joes. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, but I'll try one of your sloppy joes. I've only had them once, I just didn't like them. And I was like, okay, that's fine, just try it. And so he sat down and goes, these are really good sloppy joes. And I was like, oh, okay, so do you want another one? He goes, no, not right now. And I said, okay. So his mom texted me yesterday and she says, I need the recipe for your sloppy joes. I said, girl, it's McCormick. And she goes, and I said, you know, I said, it's funny because I didn't have time, but normally I actually grate zucchini and I put them in the sloppy joes. And I said, I started that when the kids were little because I was trying to stretch it, right? I was trying to stretch the budget because I could buy a pound of ground beef and then I could put 2 zucchini in there. And then the sloppy joe is so flavorful, the kids could not tell the difference between the zucchini and the ground beef. And so I managed to get, you know, a double batch of of the sloppy joes with only 1 pound of ground beef, right? And so those are the type of tips that we can share at our parties and things like that. So, and also, I mean, heck, then you just get more vegetables in the kids, and we're always trying to get more vegetables in our bodies, right? Even as adults. So, so yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you get a chance to try this recipe.